saying 50 today. You just sped into town. People watching this and go, really? I wasn't aware of that. Oh! It's something to look forward to when you get here. It's incredible. I've been coming here, as you know, for many, many years. I like what you've done. I like the fact that you ripped all the roads up and then went, we like this. We like this policy of forced pedestrianisation, this aggressively rejecting cars in the city. Screw it, let's leave it like this. Let's create a living museum of traffic gridlock. Let's leave it and never alter it again. It's quite beautifully done. Very, very well done. Okay. Now, the joy of it, as you know, if you attended these things before, I'll be doing a lot of the talking, but you'll be throwing stuff in, and that changes the show and makes it happen. This is one of the joys of doing live stand-up, right? If you do a TV show and something goes weird or wrong, they make you do a thing again, or do another take of that, right? If you're doing a stage play, you've got a script, and you've got to stick to that. This stuff, if something changes or goes weird, or you say a strange thing, or somebody kind of runs naked across the stage, whatever, right? You got to go with it. You got to commit. You got to commit to it. There are very few things in the art in which you just have to commit. There are very few things in life in which you just absolutely have to go for one thing. One thing. When you rent a car in a foreign country where they drive on the other side of the road, and you're fucked if you're taking any instruction from the kid who gives you the keys, because you've been driving longer than he's been alive. So get into the car, Mary, and let's go. And the first road you drive on is a roundabout to a motorway, and you don't even know which way round the roundabout they drive in this country. But you're going to go for it. Let's get into gear. Oh, Jesus, where's the gear stick? Why is the window going down? What the hell? What? It's here. What the fuck is the gear stick doing here? What are you doing here? Oh, I must be confident. Get off the roundabout. Get off the roundabout. Any turn. That one. Which one is that? Oh, Jesus, it's the airport. It's your man. Head down, head down, head down. You just got to commit to it. Like, there's one event that sums up perfectly for me that kind of just boom, and here we go, and this is what's happening. One event that occurred last November, which some of you will know about, because it occurred in a small Scottish town called Oban. Right, now, Oban you'll be familiar with here, like whatever. Oban, for those who are joining us who are not from Scotland, beautiful little ferry/fisheries town. You know, you take the boat there to visit the Mulla Kintyre and the Highlands and the Islands. There's a distillery, lovely part of the world, beautiful community. And last November, they went out to watch their annual firework display. And what a fabulous evening it was for the people of Oban. What a glorious, almost flawless, almost without one teeny tiny technical error, hardly worth even the entire fireworks went off at the same time. A massive explosion of the most horrendous, the entire sky erupting in an insane... Those of you who haven't seen it, Google it, it is on YouTube, it is fucking epic. The sky erupting in colour as the people of a small Scottish town cling to their children as they're being blown back by the velocity of it. No! We're going into hyperspace. 47 seconds of the greatest firework display in history. Immediately followed by 30 seconds of silence. And then a voice goes, "You can all go home now." Oh, if you could just create that kind of moment. If you just create that kind of thing, that'll be absolutely fantastic. There will be moments we create, by the way. There will be things that are random and different as they are in any given show, right? Some rules of engagement, for example. I will be speaking at this speed for most of the show tonight. This is kind of an Irish thing. I'll be using that. I'll say fucking feck a bit, right? Go with me on that, right? There's one really bad word a little bit later in the show. Keep an eye out for that. And I'll be doing this, like whatever. I'll be speaking. Are there any other Irish in, by the way? Good to have a few Irish. There'll be more of that, by the way. As the years go by in the next little while, there'll be more Irish appearing here in the UK because things are a little tough at the moment in Ireland. And you sent us a bailout. Thanks for that. And we were supposed to spend it on whiskey and Welsh lamb and Kit Kats, and we thought, screw that. We'll just spend the money on tickets to go and live in the UK again. And so we were all right. Keep an eye for the new Irish. Soft hands, soft, gentle. We've been working with IT hands. There isn't a construction worker among them, ladies and gentlemen. But when they get here, they'll take the gig. They will happily stand on your... Oh, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that, no problem. And you want me to... But no, you want that knocked through and then something... You want that put in? No problem. We can do that. That's not an issue. We'll get that done. Google it. Google it, for Christ's sake. Bound to be a website somewhere that explains what he wants. Jesus. Well, translated from Polish. You will be sending planes to Warsaw to fly back the Polish builders that you were so dismissive of. Oh, yeah. It's funny the first time you flush the toilet and the lights go off. But... the shite we're about to make your houses. In 6 months' time, every Wix, every home base, every DIY store in this country is going to be rammed with Irish builders trying to describe tools they vaguely remember from a generation ago. Do you have anything that'll make wood shorter? Yeah, certainly. I have a gap and I have a plank, and frankly I can't get the two of them to match up. There must be some way that we can wedge this around. Do you have a tool for that? While I have you, I have a tin of paint and a wall. How do I transfer the paint? I have tried lifting it and scooping it. I've tried flinging it. I've tried smearing it. In my mind, there's a thing like a Jedward's head. There's such a... I could lower it in and then run along the wall. There's such a thing if it exists, right? So this is joy. I honestly believe that this country needs more Irish people coming into it. And on the Irish occasion, just need to emigrate just to see more of the world and also to give their own unique takes and things onto the world. Because we've kind of slipped off the radar in the UK. You've kind of forgotten who we are. Like, even, for example, the sign, right? Sign of the show, crack dealer, right? That's a pun, obviously, which I presume most people got, right? Crack being an old Irish word meaning fun, right? And the crack dealer, because I went online a couple of years ago and went, geez, I got to come up with the name of a DVD, and I'm sick of calling them Live at the and Live Here, right? And somebody suggested crack dealer, and we thought, that's brilliant. That's a fantastic title for a show, right? And we stuck it onto the box, and we showed it to loads of people, and they went, that's fantastic, Dara being crack dealer, I get it, that's great. Apart from one major retailer in this country, one massive chain of shops in this country that said, no, we won't stock something called crack dealer because it promotes drug use. As if people would walk into their supermarket, see a DVD with crack dealer on it and go, Jesus, I'd love a bit of crack. Really hit the spot roundabout now. I've been meaning to try it for years, and I was scared by the reputation it had. But if the man off the telly is selling it, then clearly they've ironed out those initial problems. Kids, will we have a bit of crack? Let's have some crack, Daddy, let's have some crack, Daddy, let's have some crack. Now, I'm not so unprofessional as to tell you which major retailer in this country refused to stock a DVD. I wouldn't dream of doing such a thing. I would merely point out that if you want to come up with an advertising slogan that best sums up the day-to-day existence of a hardcore Class A drug addict, you're not going to do better than every little helps. This may backfire on me anyway, because obviously the thing is, on the DVD box there is always on the back of it a picture of the show as it goes along. So it means even if I keep it off the front of the box, the back of the box will have like tiny letters of crack dealer, which surely they're not going to be happy about, and I should be more sensitive to their desires not to have had this here where they would see it. I mean, that is obviously, I've got to do everything I can to avoid them being embarrassed or angry by the words appearing in Time of Homestead. How unfortunate. I think it is good to have occurred there. By the way, my favourite of the UK's kind of forgotten about Ireland stories, right, was a documentary that was on the ITV last year, right? And it's a documentary with the exciting title, Did Gaddafi Sell Weapons to the IRA? Right? I love a documentary with that kind of title, because you're hoping they'll just go, no. Kind of got half an hour of your life back, but they didn't. It's in the documentary, I'm not making this, they had footage, incredible, never before seen footage, of the IRA, full uniform on the back of a truck with a big gun, shooting down a British Army helicopter. Incredible footage. You go, my God, why have we never seen that footage? That's unbelievable footage. That's incredible. And the reason we hadn't seen the footage before, and I'm not making this up, the event never happened. It was taped. The pictures we saw were taped from a television while somebody played a video game. Somebody's playing Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, one of these things, of guys shooting down a helicopter, and it got sold to the documentary makers as found footage. Like Cloverfield or something, right? And you're going, you idiots, right? You're the ITV Current Affairs Department. How much attention exactly were you paying for 40 years of the Troubles that you thought the IRA had a uniform? They weren't that kind of army. I don't know and I don't care. What's it? My other favourite thing about it, like, it's video game footage. Oh, I love that. I wish they'd actually carried on the scam and sold them a fake interview of a guy in silhouette going, well, the most difficult thing about fighting the IRA was, even if you shot them, they would hide behind a wall and their health would replenish. And you could have an interview with a guy from the IRA going, well, the most difficult thing about being in the IRA was putting the Angry Bird into the catapult. Ludicrous as a thing, right? There will be messing around. Look at your little faces. Look at the people I'm going to come to and have chats to, and it's going to be fantastic. Some more than others, by the way. Don't be shy, by the way. Don't be just throw it out, whatever. Just go with it, enjoy yourself. You've been probably, like, you're quite young now, you this lot here. How old is this group here? 24, how old are you? Really? Who's younger than? Who's youngest? Who's young? You. 22, how old are you? 21. Any teenagers here? Any teenagers here, for example? You? How old are you guys? 19. Lovely stuff. Right, you're off the hook. I'm not fucking talking to you, right? Because you know why? Because you've fucking done nothing. That's what. There's this where you guys, you know, I might not take the gamble and you're only starting doing stuff, but this lad, nothing. Yeah. Hey, what do you do? I don't need to know an essay title, right? That you're going to deliver before, like, well, you're only starting up. Look at these gnarled fuckers here, right? Far more interested to talk to them, because there is a point where always a comedian goes, hey, what do you do? And we do it like we have any clue, like we have any notion of the real nature of jobs. This is the rubbish we do, right? We don't know the actual 9 to 5, the commute, the tensions, the hierarchies, all that kind of stuff that exists when you work within organisations. We know none of that stuff, right? We have no skills in that world, nothing. This is all I have done. I would be gone. I got nothing transferable. If this ends, I got nothing. Right? Nothing. I am institutionalised at this stage, right? I'm like that guy in Shawshank who ran the library. Sorry, I've lost you there. It was a film that was released in the 90s, much like yourself. Which does mean when you go, hey, what do you do? Like, whatever. We genuinely were really bluffing. We haven't a clue about these kind of stuff like there. I mean, particularly people who work in large organisations. Do you work in a large organisation, for example? No, do you work for yourself? What do you do? What's your name, Chrissy?
My name's Keith.
How are you, Keith? Keith, are you a local?
No, I've come from Dunblane.
You've come from Dunblane. Good to have you down, Keith. Very, very good. Andy Murray, of course. Oh, and Keith, what else? What do you do?
I have my own business.
You have your own business. Oh, you're at the top of that kind of stuff, right? Oh, this is exciting. This is exciting what you do. How many people do you employ, Keith?
Only 3.
Only 3, Keith. You are the bedrock of this economy. What you are doing is 3 now, but Facebook started with 3 or 4 or possibly 12. I don't know. Apple, all the companies, they all started with something like 3, Keith, and you will take your industry and you will make it huge. What do you do?
I sell furniture.
You sell furniture. Maybe not so much. Right? Really, most of us have chairs at this stage, Keith. It's done, right? Do you even make furniture, or do you sell other people's furniture?
Sell other people's.
You sell other people's furniture. What's your favourite piece of furniture to sell? What's the big thing that's going out the door at the moment in Dublin?
Hardly anything.
Hardly anything, is it? Harsh, Keith. You say you've got 3. Is one of them looking a bit shaky at the moment? Have you got your eye on which one it is? Is it last in, first out, Keith, or is there kind of a difficult chat to be had? We're not selling a lot of chairs here, lads. Tick-tock, tick-tock. That's all I'm saying, right? I want you to bring some of those lamps home with you and see if you can shift them on the open market at the weekend, right? Back in the car, anything at this stage, like whatever. What's the thing that hasn't? Have you any ridiculous thing in there that you've never had to shift? How many beds do you have in the place, for example?
A dozen or so.
A dozen or so at any given time, like whatever. And do you ever sleep in the office? Do you ever jump from one to one? Do you ever line them up, right? It's quiet. You're not selling anything. Do you ever line them up like whatever? Just bounce from one bed to the other. Like that. Have you ever come back and caught the lads doing that? They make little tunnels. They make tunnels. They make forts out of all the furniture. Oh, the fun they have when you're not here. When you fuck off down to Edinburgh to see the show, do you know what they've done with the place even you were there? It's insane. Two are dressed as cowboys, the other dressed as Indians. They're firing arrows across the place. Shite, Keith's back. Quick, flatten the bed. Well, how big are the beds? How small are the beds? What size do you sell the beds, my friend?
Oh, up to 7 feet square.
Up to 7 foot square? What the fuck needs a 7 foot square? Possibly. How many giants are coming into Dublin? Hello? I want to buy a bed. I can't go in the door, for I am 7 foot tall and also 7 foot wide. I am a giant who likes group sex. Please Please can I find a bed which is large enough for me and the many women I lure back to it? What kind of sexy ass basketball players are hanging around in Dunblane looking for beds at the moment to ship women through? What is the target market for a 7 foot, 49 square feet of bed? There are flats in London you would just use that as carpet. You just put it in the door. How great would that be? Johnny, do you want to come home? This is my house! It's my house! Boing! That'd be great! How high is the bed? Does it have things underneath it? Does it have drawers or shelves or stuff? Can you hide? Yeah, do people ever hide? Do you ever do hide and seek during the day? Where some people go to the club and they go, boo, I'm here, kids. Ah! Yeah, you see, it's not the most business-minded conversation you have with people about what they do. Like, well, have you ever sold a 7 foot by 7 foot bed? Have you? You have? How big was the person you sold a 7 foot by 7 foot bed to?
He was 5 foot 3.
He was 5'3". Just lying on the bed, just swirling around. Stars, crucifix, every possible shape. I'm going to see it this way, and across that way, and an angle, and everything. And was he single or was he married?
He was married.
He was married. And was a wife 9'8". Was there some sort of... You could sit in one corner in a kind of fetal position, like whatever, but she sat down like a starfish. Was she a starfish? Would he marry a giant starfish?
6 feet and she was Russian.
She was 6 foot and she was Russian. I love the details you note. She was Russian. Typical of those Russians coming in here demanding huge beds. They're like that, they're Russians. Are there any Russians in the room tonight? Good. What are the fucking chances that that's a Russian? What are the chances that that bloke goes, hey, yeah, I'm Russian. So, violate. So you're genuine Russian. Is your chair large enough at the moment? Or do you wish to spread out and take as much space as possible? So the Russian wife, to impress the Russian wife, you had the bed and very, very good. Are you a mate of Keith, by the way, that lad there? And do you work in the same industry, or do you work in a big company or a little company?
I've got my own.
You've got your own company? Oh, lads, this is impressive. It's like the Dunblane Small Business Association. Oh, it's like the Chamber of Commerce. Promoting local industry in the Dunblane area. What? How many people do you employ, my friend?
18.
18? Don't look down on him. Look at this. Doing what, my friend? What's the company do?
We're opticians.
You're opticians? It could be 18, it could be 9. You're never sure. You can move further back and around. How many people are? Wait a minute. That's the same guy. Hello, yes, I'm here to collect my pay. Fucking hat change. I am here to collect my pay. Oh, this is for my beautiful Russian wife, Olga. It's cute. 18 opticians. So people in Dunblane don't like big beds and can't see for fuck. Who needs 18 opticians? Is it a one branch or a series of branches?
We've got 18 staff.
You've got 18 staff. But how many opticians?
5.
5 opticians, okay, and there's loads of support staff doing all the bits and pieces around. Still, it's a fairly huge branch, isn't it?
No, we've got 4 places.
Oh, 4 places. So there's 5 opticians and 4 places. So what does the 5th optician do? Is he just there with an engine running all the time and a moped? We've got an optical emergency. You've got to get to branch number 4. I'll be there in half an hour. I'm here. Thank God you're here. We had two people come in at the same time. I can't deal with that kind of pace. One of them is saying E, the other is saying G, the other saying L. I'm confused. It's just a blur of F's and G's and L's. I just had to put the Q's up just to fuck them up, just to have loads of Q's. I've stuck one guy in a holding pattern just going Q, Q, Q. This isn't very difficult. Q, I'll be back with you when the other optician comes. Good work, my friend. Good to have it here. No, they're not big. See, the thing is, when you talk to people in the audience, or when you talk to people in the audience, you're looking for the jobs that people understand. We understand that, we understand that. It's the technical jobs. Because, you see, there are two types of jobs that are really, really interesting, right? That the audience automatically get, right? Job type number one, right, is it the kind of job we all learnt about as children? Right? You know, like, well, to a certain extent, like furniture and opticians, they're okay at that. Like fireman or baker, they're the dream kind of thing. Fireman, or job type B is the kind of thing you could possibly use as sexual role play. Right? Like fireman or at a push, baker. So, very much a niche market, but you get the idea, right? Those two lads here, for example, right? What's your name, sir?
Brian.
Brian, what do you do?
Work for Velux Windows.
You work for Velux Windows? In what capacity? Do you install? Do you look through? Do you sell? What do you do, my friends? Don't look at him. I don't know why you look to him. Why are you looking to him for this situation? Is he your boss? Does he also work for Velux Windows? The man beside you? Does he have any notion about how Velux Windows works? No. So why the fuck did you turn to him in a kind of... What do I do? I'm lost, John. Hold me. Hold me, I say, Velux. And he asked the second question. I didn't know where the fuck to go with it there, right? Did you install them myself, my friend?
Make them.
You make them, my friend, with your hands, with your rough, gnarled, paring and planing and shaping them.
Roughly.
Fucking ad you are from Velux Windows. Don't fucking name the company specifically and then go, yeah, we just fucking banged them together. It's all right, yeah. It's fine, I'm out of here, right? It neither opens nor closes. Well, you wanted ventilation, didn't you? Well, now you've got more ventilation than you could have possibly dreamed of. With every installation comes this bucket. Just move it around as you see the drips forming. It's fantastic, right? Insult that company. And what's your name, sir?
Drew.
How you Drew? What do you do?
Joiner.
You're a joiner. I should listen, lads. And you must chat about it all the time, about the bit that goes in like this and the bit that goes like that. It must be fantastic. You're a carpenter. What kind of carpentry do you do, Drew? What for?
New house build.
New house builds. Is it for kitchens or roofs, Drew? What do you do?
Everything.
Everything. You do everything. They just go, get Drew. He'll do the lot. But there's nothing here. There's just a tree. Drew does everything. We plant trees and then we wait. And then Drew comes and everything gets done. He makes a house and some paper. It's incredible what he gets out of it. Then he makes a crown of the leaves and we wear it in a pagan ceremony. Then we go into a sauna and we beat ourselves with the twigs that he's taken. Everything gets used by Drew. Drew is the most recycling man in the world. There's hardly a piece of the tree. If there's a squirrel, he cooks it and we eat it for lunch. Everything. There's eggs out of the nests, and it's unbelievable. He's made a suit out of leaves. It is incredible what Drew can do. Literally everything. You see a tree, Drew doesn't see a tree. Drew sees a supermarket of excitement and possibility. That's what Drew does. Everything. Thing that gets done. Tell me, Drew who does everything. Do you do the roofs as well, Drew, do you? Of course you do the roofs. Are you ever up there, Drew? Do you ever stand, Drew? I've always wondered this with the lads who work on the roofs of houses. Do you know when you build the thing up and you've got the gable out, right at the very end, Drew? Do you ever stand at the very end of the gable, which might be quite scary, I don't know how you are with heights, right? But get the guy who's with you just to hold you around the waist, right? And then you lift out your hands and you go, I'm flying, Jack. I'm flying. See, this is the joy of it. They're all kind of like small business people who work for themselves. That's quite cool, right? Because usually there's a lot of large organisations, and they're larger are the most bewildering thing in the world for me. I cannot handle big organisations just because I have no experience of them. The only experience I have of big organisations is if I do like a corporate gig for them, like a Christmas dinner or something, right? And I'll go in. And the bit that makes it weird is they always send you some sort of briefing document, some sort of note, right, of the things, never useful, never, oh, you could say this, or you could say, it's always things they'd sooner you didn't say, right? Like, for example, Velux would probably go, if you're ever asked about Velux products in a public environment, don't say you fucking knocked them together in a rough manner, right? That's just it. But it's always like, hey, so glad you could come along, delighted to have you here, whatever you're doing, don't mention one-legged Johnny. And you're going, well, I wasn't about to mention one-legged Johnny. I didn't even know one-legged Johnny existed. But now you've said the name one-legged Johnny. And it's like a red rag to this particular bull, because all I can think of now is what words can I possibly say, so that midway through the gigs I can force tables to be pushed back and one bloke will hop out going, fuck you. I ain't come out here tonight to be insulted by the likes of you prick. I did one during the year for a company called Happy Pets. Happy Pets, fine company. They make pet products for pet shops. Any one of their products taken in isolation is a kind of thing that would get you laughed out of Dragon's Den. Any one of them would do that, because they're all like a small, squishy mobile phone filled with catnip so that your cat can feel like an executive. I'm out! Right, they're all like that, right? But put them together in a catalogue, it kind of makes sense, right? So I'm there looking, I'm about to walk in, right? And there's a woman with my corporate liaison person, right? And she does a very typical thing of going, oh, before you go in, right? And I'm expecting one of these kind of, whatever you're doing, try not to mention religion, or try not to do any jokes about race, something like that, right? She goes, so before you go in, right, better if you didn't mention, and I'm going, what? She goes, the RSPCA. Ludicrously specific rule, and I got nothing on the RSPCA. Tonight's show doesn't end with a montage of photographs of me cleaning the oil off a gull or making tiny splinters for a hamster out of twigs. I got nothing on the RSPCA, right? So I say, it's all right, Pat, we're not going to mention it. But then something struck me and said, hang on, you mean don't slag them off? And she goes, no, don't mention them. You're going, well, that's far more interesting now. Because that makes it sound that within that room, there's some sort of huge division within the room. From one half of the room, we think the RSPCA are an excellent organisation who do wonderful work with the little animals. And the other half, who think they're a bunch of meddling fuckers, who stop them at the end of a long day selling the pets, closing up the shop, taking out the tortoises and riding them like stilts. Now I shut that. They're a load-bearing animal, they can handle it. And they're ribbed for my pleasure. It's fantastic. Now this is dancing in my head, unhelpfully, as I'm in the room, and I'm looking around at all this kind of stuff, dancing in my head, and it's also complicated the fact it's one of these rooms where there are round tables. If you've ever gone to one of these where there are round tables and people sitting, great for the dinner, right? And then when the entertainment starts, suddenly half the table are facing the wrong way. and have to do the shufti manoeuvre, where they get the chair and go like that. They all shufti. They were great shuftiers, apart from one couple right at the table at the front who didn't fucking shufti at all, who basically didn't move, who just offered me the back for the entire length of the show. Occasionally would to each other go, that's all I saw of them, right? Now, God loved them. I found out later they were Danish. They're from some Copenhagen pet shop. They had no clue what I was saying or why I was saying it. They just wanted to lie low and have this part of the evening move along as quickly as possible. But nobody told me that. So I just naturally presumed that they were the RSPCA. I spent the entire gig sneaking up behind them going, look at them, the meddling feckers. Badgers were born to fight, and they're walking away again. To the massive bewilderment of the rest of the room going, Jesus, what's this problem with the Danes? The Danes were particularly interesting about the Badgers, but he let the poor Copenhagen couple alone, right? I did one of these big, there was a big corporate thing, and in the front row, there was supposed to be a famous golfer, right? And they said in the briefing notes, whatever you're doing, don't mention his super injunction. You go, well, I didn't know he had a super injunction because it's a super injunction. And then you put it into the briefing notes, and I'll be honest, I've already opened another window on the desktop and I'm furiously Googling the words super injunction Montgomery. I am not going to tell you what it was, because you're going to look it up anyway. So why would I waste time going into the detail? Do you notice that I've already given you two things to look up, Oban fireworks and super injunction. I am the only comedian who gives homework out as the gig proceeds. And it's entirely a test of character as to which one you look up first. Know that, right? I'm saying that because I can already see pockets of light where people have slid the smartphones out and are checking for some form of 3G coverage, and they're going, geez, you dirty fecker. I had a weird thing. After that gig, actually, I was trying to recover from the weirdness of that gig. I was in the bar in Gleneagles and I was sitting, minding my own business, drinking a glass of scotch. And the weird thing happened. A woman walked over. Woman in her mid-50s, so pearls, twin set, very elegantly dressed. Little bit pissed, but sat down beside me, right? Plonked herself down beside me. Now, it's not unusual for people of that age to come over, because usually it's because they've got a kid who's 23 or 17 or 11 or 19, and they'd like to get an autograph, and then, yeah, fine, grand. She doesn't mention that. Doesn't mention anything that indicates she has any clue who I am. Just starts going on about how great it is to be out. Oh, it's fantastic to be out. Isn't it lovely to be out? It's wonderful to be out. Isn't it great just to be out? And I'm looking at this woman going, you are neither lesbian nor Chilean minor. No idea why it's such a huge achievement for you to be out. And then it goes on to, and I can talk to a man, she says. I can come over here. My friends say, why didn't you go over? You can talk to a man. There's nothing wrong with that. I can come over and talk to a man. And I'm going, oh my God. She's like a divorcee, and this is her first time out again, and just finding her feet in the social circle, and oh, I should be flattered, and I should be kind to her, but no! She's 55, and I was 39, and frankly, I'm sorry. I know I'm not the most stunning man in the world, but I'd like to think that this doesn't say second chance at happiness. it's unusual for a man to be pregnant. We're supposed to accept our aging. I know men more than women have to. But nonetheless, no, it is just as weird. Because men get fucking tragic as we get older. Women, I know it's difficult, but men get ludicrous. Apparently all I have to look forward to when I hit me mid-50s is buying a pair of leather trousers and hovering around the back of a lap dancing club until the shift finishes in order to go, but please give me a chance, Aurora. This is real. That kind of shit, right? But Starburst, this could work. Starburst is a top quality name for a lap dancer, by the way. She didn't make a penny while she was called Opal Fruits. But the minute she changed it to Starburst, that cash came rolling in. That's the problem. If you're going to go up with a lap dancing name, confectionery is a bit of a mixed bag, I'm afraid, right? Some of them work beautifully, okay? On the main stage, Candy and Bubblicious are on the main stage at the moment. And on the second stage, Double Decker. And Tunnock's Tea Cake. Tunnock's Tea Cake is dancing for your pleasure on the second stage. It is one of those things that I'm 40 now, right? 40 with a couple of kids, which means that I am now the focus of a phenomenon which I hate, right? It's a thing that television producers do, right? And it's called Something for the Dads. Now, Something for the Dads is that really irritating phenomenon of putting in totty into all kind of shows, particularly family shows, because it's presumed it's the only way I'll keep watching if there's a bit of flesh on show, right? Like the dancers, the lady dancers' outfits in Strictly Come Dancing is textbook Something for the Dads, right? Oh, yeah. Sorry, that's the way you say it. Something for the dads, right? Filthy, dirty Sid J. Something for the dads, right? It is, because you sit down with your family and you go, oh, we're watching the bloody dancing thing. You go, oh, there's nothing for me in this. Hello. Women on game shows standing next to prizes, Doctor Who's sexy assistant, weather girls. I mean, the presumption that I have to be kept slightly horny all the time or I'll get angry about it. I'm not horny. I can't concentrate unless I'm a little bit horny. What? Rain? Give me horniness so I can't concentrate on the rain. Irritating, right? I hate the Something for the Dad thing because it's patronising to men and limiting for young women. So, genuinely is, right? Yeah. And it may be just that I'm sensitive about that because, you know, I got a daughter, and you get very sensitive. I got a daughter and a son, right? And it's one of these issues. The whole gender thing is one of these issues that's raised. Like nationality is another thing as well. I'm Irish. My wife is English. We live in London, but I want our children to be respectful of the two traditions that they came from. I mean, you'll understand that here, you know. You want them to celebrate in that. Even when we're naming our children, I wanted their names to be respectful and part of the two great histories they came. My son is called Patrick Cromwell O'Brien. Love that you get that. Not true, by the way. Ridiculous, of course not. No, here's the thing that is true. I was on the Jonathan Ross show about a month and a half ago, right? And I was on with a rapper, right, whose name I keep forgetting, because they all get stupid, like Exhibit or Stanchion or Hedgerow or, you know, Field Mouse, right? All the ridiculous names. He's called Labyrinth was his name, right? And all we heard for the entire morning is, oh, here's Labyrinth, there's Labyrinth, where's Labyrinth, is Labyrinth here? Oh my God, look at Labyrinth, and Labyrinth would appear in his purple trousers with his little purple hipster glasses, and there goes Labyrinth. Labyrinth was in his crew, and now Labyrinth is doing his sound check, and then I was in makeup at one stage, and Labyrinth was behind me, and they called, oh, Labyrinth, we need you now, so Labyrinth would leave, and there goes Labyrinth, right? That's all we heard, bloody Labyrinth all day, right? And then he leaves, and it's just me and the makeup lady, and she looks at me and goes, what a terrible name to give a child. It's not his real name, Pet. It's his rapper name. They all have silly rapper names. When Plan B was born, I don't think his parents, well, we wanted to do a few more years travelling. But we love our little Plan B. Don't we have a little Plan B? You do worry about these. For example, with regard to the little ones, that whole thing like that, something for dads and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I have two little ones, right? Two little ones, a boy and a girl, right? And I don't know if I'm giving away anything here on behalf of the parents of this particular generation, right? But we are so putting all of our investment into the girls. All of our efforts, all of our resources, all of our hopes rest with the girls. The boys are great. The boys are great with their energy and their wrestling and their running into things with their fucking heads. It's fantastic. Meanwhile, the girls are using language and social skills and building things, literally building things with stuff that boys mainly use to push into the cat. It's quite remarkable. I say this, I had a woman come up to me after a gig. I would come up to her after a gig and go, "Oh, it's very interesting." He said, "I'm a parent in there." I said, "Oh, wasn't?" She goes, "Yeah." She goes, "I have 4 sons," she says, "and I love them. But they are stupid." Everything is a missile. Everything, she said. She said her major dream at the moment is to have an ensuite bathroom that she knows she can use, and fully assured that at no stage previous to that had any of the sons been into the ensuite bathroom and just done basically what I'm doing now, just forgotten what they were doing and wandered around and just decorated the entire room before finishing and walking away, right? She said she got up one night, was walking through the house at night for something, tripped on a toy, hit her head off a counter, got back to bed, got up the next morning, made breakfast for the 4 sons, then went to the bathroom, right? And when she went to the bathroom, she for the first time saw that she had a black eye, a shiner, a proper 8-ball, right? Not one of the boys had either noticed it or, more worryingly, felt it worthy of comment. The Lord is gone, "Yeah, more Weetabix." One of those things, yes, it is. You worry about these gender things as you never had before. Other issues, like, for example, I was watching a football match with a 2.5-year-old of mine, right? And I get very passionate about football, and I was roaring at the television, roaring at with that, like. And then the game ends, and I go quiet, and I'm in repose, and I look at this little face which was glowing with learning, right? And this child looks at me and goes, "Bloody Jesus Christ." And my wife goes, "Dara." And I said, "What? We're atheists. This is hilarious." We've a non-denominational, secular education. There's no religion in our schools. Yeah, that's the way we're doing it, like whatever. So imagine my surprise, the twist, that I've had to sit through 2 nativity plays already. We're atheists in a non-denominational secular school. What the hell am I doing watching? There is, by the way, a crib under the baby Jesus here, right? This isn't the first ever production of Limbo Christ. My objections are predominantly theatrical rather than theological, but I got to sit through a lot of these things on tiny chairs in school halls, right? It's not comfortable. And I'm saying to my wife, why are we here? And she's going, Dara, it is a Christmas story. And I'm going, there are lots of Christmas stories they could do, right? They could do a Christmas carol, a delightful Christmas story. It's a Wonderful Life, a beautiful, Die Hard. Die Hard. Die Hard is one of our finest and most beloved Christmas tales. Who among us would not prefer to see an under-5s version of Die Hard? Small, barefoot child shouting, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker," as they run through a cardboard representation of the Nakatomi Plaza. I, for one, would love to see that. What else would you suggest? It doesn't have to be Christmassy. Free your mind. What would you love the kids to be doing a version of? What's that? Gremlins, yeah, but non-Christmas. Let's go non-Christmassy. Saw. You know, one of the children has to remove his own leg with a rusty hacksaw, and another one lies on the floor. Is he dead? Is he not? Spoiler alert for the whole outfit. See, it's amazing how violent it gets very quickly. What else should we do? What did you say? Pulp Fiction. Inevitably, there's a Tarantino suggestion, right? Small 5-year-old child overdoses on heroin, finds a freaking epi needle rammed into their breastplate, and then there's a big shoot at the end. Give me one more. Braveheart is fantastic. Braveheart is a brilliant suggestion. Paint half of their faces blue, give the other side Georgia's flags, and make them run across the hall at each other. So good, I could say. I love this game. We've had everything people said, the Godfather trilogy, which I think is possibly a little ambitious, all 6 Star Wars films, Kill Bill volumes 1 and 2, right? Inception was a particular favourite of mine. There'd be layers of it, and at the edge people were moving incredibly slowly, and then in the middle. It's a great game, except in Birmingham, where a man in the front row went, Basic Instinct. No, you have literally ruined it now. You have destroyed it. You've made a mess of that. Right? Awful. Listen, I give out about the nativity plays. There was a nice moment. There was a nice moment because they were really quiet, and you know, even an old hard-hearted old cynic like me, there was a presentation of the baby, and they all leaned in, and it was all very quiet and still and nice. And then one voice at the back of the room goes, "Bloody Jesus Christ." Proud. As I'm sure she did, because at the end her teacher came out and said, "Thank you all so much for coming along to the Class 1A's Christmas production this year." And I, at the back of the room, nudged my wife and went, "Finally, something for the dads." Obviously, the dabbing down should be done at this point. It is, of all the many reasons to possibly do or not do a DVD in Edinburgh, nobody ever said, "Oh, Jesus, no, the heat. The heat." Did you not know Edinburgh is tropically warm? You can't possibly do a DVD there. You'll be baking, it'll be dripping off you. Put that in there. Anyway, where was I? one of the joys, by the way, of playing this kind of room, this proper, big, huge theatre type room, is you see the other shows that are on are all musicals and they're all big shows and other things. A lot of the time you're playing with, you know, cover bands and psychics, a lot of psychics. I was in Wolverhampton a couple of weeks ago, and there's a book you have to sign at the end. Hey, thank you very much for the nights here. And I flicked back to a couple of pages to see who else was there. Derek Acora was about 10 pages before me. And his message was quite sweet. He just wrote, "Got away with it again." Sally Morgan, TV psychic. I find myself on tour in the same venues as her a lot. I find myself, you know, either there just after Sally Morgan, TV psychic, has been, or just before she's been in, and it's a bit of a chore. Now, Sally Morgan comes onto my radar because of my nerd rants. I have a tendency to look at things that offend me on a rational level and to get irrationally angry about them. Right? My current favourite nerd rant at the moment, thing I'm irrationally angry about, is the Dettol no-touch antibacterial soap dispenser, which pisses me off. I'm sorry, for those who are unfamiliar with it, it is a soap dispenser that you wave your hand underneath and it squirts out the soap, thus saving you touching that plunger, which is being touched by your family. Pox-laden creatures like that. And you certainly don't want to be catching any bacteria in the microsecond before you wash your fucking hands. But I find myself, as I said, touring and crossing paths with various people, which means that I then talk to the stage staff who tell me exciting stories, right? For example, about Sally Morgan, TV psychic. They told me a story once. I don't know if it's true or not. They told me, and legally I'm going to cover myself and say it's their fault. Nonetheless, here's the story. She was on in Belfast, in the Waterfront Theatre in Belfast, and it wasn't working out for her. I'll sympathetically say she was having a quiet night, as we often do as performers, right? Sometimes it just doesn't click, right? And it wasn't clicking, and the audience turned and started taking the mickey out of her. And so I go, "Sally, can I talk to my mother?" And she'd go, "When did she die?" And the person would go, "She's not dead yet." "Sally, can I talk to my sister? Is she dead?" "No." Eventually, the woman said, "Sally, can I talk to my father? Can I communicate with my father?" she said. And Sally went, "Is he dead?" And the woman said, "Yes." And Sally stood on stage in front of 1,800 people in a theatre in Belfast and went, "I'm getting an image, I'm getting a vision of a man's coming through." When the woman in the audience went, "No, he's here, sorry." Now, that's an old story, right? My favourite one, last year, Sally performed in Dublin, my hometown, in the Grand Canal Theatre there. And the day after she performed, people phoned in to a radio show to say that they thought that they had heard technical staff saying things at the back of the room just before she said them on stage, right? Now, this sounds very dramatic as a takedown. It wasn't as impressive as the Belfast one, because it was in a show called The Joe Duffy Show in Ireland, and frankly, if you'd heard it, it was all very, Joe, Joe. Do you know, they were saying it, Joe, and then, like a minute later, she'd say it. It's like, Joe, it's like she couldn't talk to the dead. Partial credit at best, right, for that. But the Daily Mail reported this story, and Sally Morgan, TV psychic, is suing them for libel. I think this is a point where I go, whoa there, Sally, time out there. Now, you are not, what, in a court? Sally, you do not want to go into a court where they treasure things like proof and evidence. These words have a certain meaning, and you, a TV psychic, do not belong in that environment at all. But let me just say, Sally, if you're going to court, I'm fucking coming with you. All right? I would give anything to appear as a witness in Sally Morgan's court case. And a witness in her defence. She would not be expecting that. Oh, yeah, I would go, oh, Your Honour, I'm here to defend Sally Morgan. For she has a rare and precious gift. She can see into another realm, Your Honour. She's not the one who's at fault here. No. The real culprit in this situation are the dead. It's literally how dramatically I'll do it. I'll lean forward and everything. In fact, in my head, it's even more impressive. Your Honour, she's not the real culprit. The real culprit in this situation are the dead. The dead, Your Honour. The dead are making Sally Morgan look like a cunt. Not enough people say this about the dead. The dead get off scot-free. The dead are arseholes of the highest order. The dead are pricks. The nice psychic is there trying to talk to the dead, and what are the dead doing? They're mumbling and muttering and forgetting basic information like their own names. What kind of assholes are the dead? I've got a man here. Oh, what is your name? What's my name? John, James, Julian, Julia, Mary, Miranda, Miriam, Tiddles, Bongo the cat, Shamu the whale. Try them all. I'll improvise. The dead are pricks. My current absolute favourite of these bites at the moment, I'm in a battle at the moment with astrologers. Now, I say astrologers in the full knowledge that half the room, myself included, have to do a quick, oh Jesus, which one is that? Astrologer, astronomer, astrologer, which one is which, right? Irritating it is that these two things that have such incredibly different philosophies have such ridiculously similar names as astrology and astronomy. Everyone makes this mistake. Karen Brady off The Apprentice, who is ultra efficient, very professional woman, always very smart or whatever. I met her just before I did the show Stargazing Live, the science show I did with Briain Craic, right? And I met her just before that in the BBC, and she said, oh, what are you doing next? And I said, I'm doing a show about astronomy. And Karen Brady went, ooh, you don't believe in that, do you? And I went, yes, Karen, I believe in the stars. Everyone makes that mistake. Everyone makes up astronomy and astrology. In fact, I will give you a little hint, a little kind of, a learning aid so that you don't make the... remember Richard of York gave battle in vain to remember the colours of the spectrum? Here's a very simple one to remember which one is astronomy and which one is astrology, right? And it's all in the word. Astronomy, nomi, nom, as in nom nom nom, Brian Cox is delicious. Astrology, logy, log, a unit of poo. That's how. Anyway, we got into a fight with astrologers because on stargazing we had a model of the solar system at one stage, and we had all 8 planets out, and we were going to show that basically it's rock, 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 gas, 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 right? And I got an extra point that I wanted to throw in because I got the Earth and I spun it around. I go, there you go, here it comes, round again in a year. And look, there goes around in another year, right? The Earth has the orbit of exactly a year. None of the other planets have an orbit of a year, or any multiple of a year, or convenient fraction of a year. Like a year later, they're all over the place. And the year after that, they're all over the place even more. Right? There's no reason that you would share any personality traits with somebody born the year after you. It makes no sense. And Brian Cox, to his eternal credit, stood beside me and went, obviously, on behalf of the BBC, we must have balance. Can I just say, yes, astrology is nonsense. And we got 1,000,000 letters from angry medieval soothsayers, furious that we weren't giving them due credit. And on Twitter, they tweeted me going, oh, if you're a real scientist, you'd be more open-minded about the evidence. And I'm going, well, lucky for me, I'm a fucking comedian. And they all wanted to come onto the show, onto this BBC science show, to give their side of the argument. And you're going, no, you can't come on. Why? It's a science show. You can't come onto it because your work clothes are a cape with stars sewn onto it. You're called Madame Zuccarino. That's why you don't get to go on a science show. You get to do premium rate phone lines in the back of the newspapers. You don't get to do science shows. These are the choices we make, right? So there was a part of me going, oh, Jesus, bring them on. Bring them on. That means if we bring them onto our thing, that means I am allowed, quid pro quo, appear on any television show they do, right? I'm allowed to appear just on Daybreak, right, on ITV. I'll be sitting at the end of the couch, just reading the newspaper, while they're over there warbling on about, you know, Aries this or Virgo that, and the host of the event, you go, thank you very much, Madam Zuccarino. But of course, under broadcasting regulations, I must now turn to Dara, and I put down my paper and go, everything she said is shite. All right? Same time next week, lads, same time next week. We'll see you then. Good stuff. And a lot of people say, it's a very soft target, Dara. It's a very easy, and it is a very easy. It's a bit of crack. We all know that. You open the paper in the tea break in the office and you go, John, you're going on a long journey. Oh, Mary, you might come into some money, right? That's fine. It's just a bit of a laugh. I get that, right? In fact, we had in Newcastle on the tour, we had 3 prison officers from a prison called Franklin Prison, right? And they were in the row, and we were saying to them, how brilliant would that be if every day they went around to the cells and read the lads their horoscopes? How fantastic. Oh, you might be going on a long journey. Oh, but there's new love. It is a soft target, but here's why I'm quite doing it, because they took a complaint against me. The astrologers took a complaint against me, and they submitted it to the BBC, and they did another one against Brian Cox as well. And every time the complaint was rejected, they'd resubmit the complaint so that it had to move up the levels. And it kept going up and up the levels of the BBC, all the way to a thing called the BBC Trust, which is like the head of the BBC, right? You should read the ruling of the BBC Trust. You should just read the tone of the ruling of the BBC, which is just, would you ever fuck off? What? I've got to worry about this. I've got all of Mexico complaining about Top Gear. And this. Shite about this. Because the bloke who runs the BBC Trust is an old Dublin lad going, Jesus, stop it. Smiggy, you big prick. Sorry, just one for the doves. But anyway, yeah, so they took the complaint, fine. So if you want to fight, you'll have a fight. Let's have a fight, very, very straightforward. Here's my argument against them. It does take, you have to come with me a little bit, but I know you will. A lot of people, this is how it starts, a lot of people are very down on racism. Do you like pausing at that stage and feeling an audience go, where is he going with this? Unexpected twist, isn't it? very down on racism, and they'll say that racism is one of the worst social evils they can imagine. How dare you do that, they say. How dare you ascribe to me personality traits? You don't even know me, but you tell me that you know me and you know these things about me. And you say I share these personality traits with this huge group of people and I don't even know them, you don't know them, and you say not only do we have these same character traits, but we have some sort of common history and some common destiny. And you make all of these horrible presumptions on the back of what? On the back of a fluke of birth. How dare you do that? What? Oh, Capricorn. Here's the thing. If you want a clumsy tool to divide the population into distinct groups so that you can make predictions, racism is way better than astrology. In fact, if you remember nothing else from this gig, if you wake up and everything else is thump out of your head, remember just that fragment, even out of context, where I went, racism is way better than astrology. That's your hashtag for the gig. Racism is way better than astrology, right? That's the one thing I like. Don't mix it up. Don't. If I find any of you going, what was the show about? Oh, it's great. He said, racism is for the dads. And, that when you're a dad, you're allowed to be a little bit racist. And he's right, you know, he's right. I've learned a lot of things when I became a dad. Anyway, racism way better than astrology. That's the. And here's the proof, right? Take a piece of paper and write down all the star signs, 12 of them. Then get another piece of paper and write down all the different racial groupings you can think of. You'll get to 50, 60 easily. Then if you're Irish, you can start going county by county. That's another 32, right? Here in this country, you start going, Glaswegians do this, like whatever, and Geordies do that, and Scousers do. You'll get up to 80 easily, at which point racism is 6 or 7 times more powerful than astrology in dividing up the population. And here's the clincher. How much better would daybreak be if once a week they had a racist in making predictions? We'd all tune in to watch that. So, Terry, what's ahead of us in the next 7 days? Well, it's going to be a big week for the Jews. That's my racist face. See, I am a nerd. I'm a nerd. I'm a tech nerd as well. I quite like watching us scrabble to keep up with technology. I quite find that funny. A friend of mine invited me round to his house to watch a football match in high definition, because he had a high definition box and a high definition television. And we sat down after 10 minutes. I went, John, this is not high definition. And he went, what are you talking about? It's a Sky HD box and a HD ready telly. I said, but are you using a HDMI cable to connect the box to the telly? And he went, what's a HDMI cable? I know, you're ahead of me. He was using a SCART. I know. I need hardly explain to you. In that configuration, that will merely bleed the high definition out of the picture, rendering it normal definition. Here's the best bit. He'd had that for 6 months. For 6 months, he and his wife had watched this and convinced themselves it was high definition. They'd watched Avatar and gone, look how bright it is, look how vivid, look at the clarity. He had placebo high def. It's kind of a very rare form of high definition. We're surrounded by technology, but we don't really know how it works, right? We think because we're at the very breaking edge of all technology that somehow we're geniuses. If we ever fell back in time, fell through a wormhole and landed in Renaissance Italy, and we landed in front of a council of the finest minds of the time, Leonardo da Vinci, Botticelli, Michelangelo, and we think we'd be gods. They would look to us and go, my God, and we'd jumpstart science, we'd be a wonder of the age, we'd tell them the things they would never have heard of. It would be incredible. No, we're 3 questions away from looking like fucking Egypts. Question one, what do you have in the future? Traveller in time? And you go, we have an amazing thing called a computer. A computer sits in the room, and we have these in all houses in the world, and it sends information all over the world, and it draws information in. My God, they say sketching furiously. That is amazing. And how does it keep going? Well, it's connected to the wall by a cable. And what happens there? I don't really know. They've tried to explain it to me any number of times. I've never really got it, to be honest. Basically, there's a thing that lives in the wall, and it makes the pictures change. That's the gist of it, anyway. They are walking away at this stage, and you're clutching, you go, wait. Oh no, we have a thing called a fridge in the future. A fridge is an amazing machine because it keeps cold on the inside, and we can put food into it, and it doesn't rot, and that means we are healthier for longer, and we're... they're like, that's amazing, and how does it work? It hums. And the humming is in some way related to the cold. And what keeps it humming? That's connected to the walls. Is this the same thing that made the pictures change? Could be. Name a simple machine we use every day. Microwave is the simplest fucking machine you could think of, right? What house of the future do you live in where the simplest machine you have, I'll just go to the microwave on my jetpack. Simpler than that. Kettle, toaster, very good. These are the kind of... Could you imagine explaining a toaster to Michelangelo? You take a piece of bread, you put it into the machine, you press down, and you wait. And what happens? Does it double the bread, quadruple the bread? Does it change the bread into other food stuff, thus ending hunger? Does this machine stop famine? No, it just makes toast. But we can make toast. We hold bread up next to a flame on a fork. But this does two sides. 500 years of science and advancement, and you can make two-sided toast. I like two-sided toast. And what keeps the machine hot? It's connected to the walls. All right, then, non-electrical, simple non-electrical machine we use every day. Toilet, of all the things. Could you imagine explaining a toilet to Botticelli? You gather your robes around you, you sit down, you evacuate your waste into it. Then you press a button and it's all taken away. Where does it go? It goes into the wall. Does it feed the thing that makes the pictures change? Yeah, whatever. See, I love the fact that people get bewildered by technology. I love the fact that people get really negative about it, like this is something wrong about this. Twitter, I am very fond of Twitter, for example. I think Twitter is great fun. That title came from Twitter. It creates a community and jokes get passed around, like whatever. Twitter is really good, for example, because it's allowed up to 40,000 people to contact me directly and tell me I look like Gru from Despicable Me. Hate the round of applause that gets every night. I didn't trace for that, and for that kind of, and just also people say there's something like unnatural about the form of communication. It's brevity. It's what we do. Brevity is the very soul of wit. We've done that for 600 years since Shakespeare. It is brief and to the point. If you're a comic, you love that. You love a thing that can just explain in seconds. I had a routine I used to do about what's the stupidest thing you've ever done on your holidays, right? I've retired it. I've almost entirely rested it because it was one. It was won in January by one bloke from Killarney, right? Just nailed it, right? Now we just ask to set the bar, right? Simple thing, all I want is the first line, what's the stupidest thing you've ever done on your holidays? Went to the wrong place, loving that. What was that just occurred there? Went to the wrong place again. What did you stop a woman up there shout? The manager shout? Married your wife. Ah. The thing is, up there, there's a woman going, oh, did you get a big laugh? Did you like that? That was funny, what's that? Oh, did you get a big laugh off them, right? Oh, why didn't you go home and go to bed with them? Because you're not fucking going home bed to me, right? Went to the wrong place, married my wife, they're all fine. Any more? Whatever that was. It's more like a political speech than it was. Surprised you didn't all rise up and do whatever it was she wanted. Come on! See, they're all fine, but you see, they're all grand. They could have occurred anywhere, right? Okay, grand. You went to the wrong place, grand. That did occur in the wrong place. Married the wife, could have married the wife. You could have happened anywhere. I went out in Killarney and said, what's the stupidest thing you've ever done on your holiday? And one bloke goes, I kicked an armadillo. That is epic, my friend. I said, why did you do that? And said, I don't know. He just walked out in front of me. I didn't know what the fuck to do. He was on like a jungle trek, like a guided tour of the wildlife, with a local guide showing him in a kind of a, and this is the nest of the such and such, and you can see the tracks there, and occasionally those birds will find their fruit there and they'll bring it down, all this kind of stuff. And in the background, he's standing next to a bush, and an armadillo walks out, and he just goes, oh fuck, and just hoofs it. Properly, poof. Carried got his leg underneath it with the instep, lifted it over a tree. See, I don't know what I find more exciting about that. The face of the local guide going, don't kick the fucking wildlife. Or the armadillo going, this is a bad day for me. Apropos of nothing, stupidest thing I've ever done on my holidays was in Bondi Beach in Australia. I was there, I was looking at the surfers go fizz, 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 up and down, standing on the boards, comfortable, looking very, and I can do that, I went to the board rental area, rented the largest board they had, ran to the water with the music from Hawaii Five-0 playing in my head. Ran to the water. It's amazing the minute you hit the water, it instantly goes from surfboard to bar of soap. Slump out of your hand. And then there's an interesting moment of tension, because when they rent you a surfboard, they strap it to your leg. So it goes, and then you go as well. Drags you out of the water, you're hoping nobody spotted you, run back in again. Every time I tried, flump, gone. Then flum again. Just 20 minutes of watching this thing disappear off and yank me with it, right? Now that sounds as if it's just embarrassing, but no, it's actually painful, because the underside of a surfboard has 3 bloody razor blades stuck onto it. They're meant as guides or something, but the bloody keeps cutting across your thigh every time it shoots out of your hand. I've got all these scratches and nicks and dinks. After 20 minutes, I look like some weird emo chick. Just into the water, all these tiny little cuts. I was bleeding into the waters of Australia. And luring sharks into Bondi Beach, right? But I kept trying. And once as I ran into the water, I caught a wave coming at me, right? Just about shoulder height. Very important in that situation. Surfing 101. Very important. When that happens, lift the board over the wave. Or break the wave with the pointy end of the board. Don't do what I did. Which is hold the board up flat towards the ocean. In an effort to somehow deflect the Southern Ocean away from myself. I managed to harness the entire gravitational pull of the moon. Oh, Jesus! Gone, right? Now there's a man looking at me and laughing. Just standing there in his trunks, laughing at me. And I go, I'm going to do this, right? Ran into the water and leapt onto the board as if to mount it. Like a rodeo thing. I went, I've got you now! I've got you! Oh, Jesus, you're not as buoyant as you let on a minute ago. I just ended up forcing it down and wedging myself on the sand, with the waves just lapping in and out around me. I'm just staring at the other surfers going, how are you lads? Yeah, good day in the water, isn't it? A couple of great breakers out there, aren't they? Fantastic. I think I'm a bit of a break myself at the moment because I'm weak with the blood loss. But nonetheless. But I had to walk past your man. I picked up the board. I walked past a man who was in tears laughing at me at this thing, right? And I walked past him, man, and I vividly remember, it's a completely true story. I walked past him, man, and just kind of went, oh. And your man looks at me, and in the thickest accent I have ever heard in my life, just goes, Jesus, Dara, we Irish are shite at surfing. Completely true story. Where was it? Oh, yeah, the technology. I was talking about the technology. See, the joy of it is one of the things what I love about Twitter, for example, is just that instantaneous community. We all see an event occurring and we all react to it, and we have our water cooler moment there and then. Right? And I think it's fantastic. It's good if you're all watching the same kind of television show. It's particularly, it's very good for political events or big. I mean, last summer during the London riots, it was very evident as well. Did you watch the London riots? But 7 of you did. The rest of you waiting for the box set to come out. It was a big enough deal at the London riots. Now, and obviously the reaction to it wasn't, this was fast, but it wasn't necessarily profound. Everyone's reaction was that standard hackneyed reaction to the riots, which was, I wouldn't have done that. Look at those children. Those 16-year-olds are feral. I wouldn't have done that when I was 16. I wouldn't have done it when I was 16. I wouldn't have been phoning around organising riots at 16, because when I was 16, we'd one phone in the house, and it was in the sitting room with the television and the couch. And there's literally no way you can organise a riot, and that's, yeah, we're having a riot. It's going to be amazing. I'm on the phone. Leave me be. I'm on the phone. Yeah, we're going to smash the system. We're going to destroy capitalism. It's going to be amazing. Yeah. Please, I'm allowed to make calls as well. It's a private call, right? Yeah, I'll see you in town in half an hour. Yeah, see you in town in half an hour. Yay, very good. I need a lift into town. Besides which, I was 16 in 1988. In 1988, nobody is looting a television. Christ! Fucking heavy is this thing. mighty meows are killing. Hello, officer. I haven't even been out of the shop yet. What was intriguing for me, though, about it, right? What was intriguing for me about the way Twitter reacts to it, because the corner of Twitter I live in will be quite media, quite liberal, quite left-leaning, right? And it was amazing how quickly these people, seeing riots in the street outside their houses, whoosh, went authoritarian, went very harshly right-wing, right? Suddenly they're all crying out for rubber bullets to be used and water cannons to be introduced to the street. And they're going, lads, these things are not as sweet and whimsical as their names might suggest, right? Rubber bullets in particular, geez, it's not like, oh, we got some rubber bullets, what do we do with these? People have taken over the bouncy castle. Boing, 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 boing! And water cannons. What do we do with the water cannons? Distract them with the rainbow. Oh, so many colours, it's lovely. Oh, I'm all wet. Sexy time. That's what they're for, right? They're vicious. But people get scared, and they get scared of crime and it doesn't want to affect them. People get particularly scared when you've got kids. You get very, very scared very quickly because you want the walls built higher, you don't want crime coming into your home, right? I have a very specific fear about crime in the home because I work nights, right? I'll be, I'm giddy every evening because I work until 11 o'clock at night, whatever, and so the energy level stays up. I don't get to sleep till 4 or 5 in the morning, most nights. I'm just always up till 4 or 5 in the morning. I'm an owl. Basically, I will be up when the burglar comes. And I know the way I say that makes me sound like my own mother. Oh, I was up when the burglar came. Oh, Jesus, the burglar's here. Go down the shops. We've nothing here. The house is that thing. There's nothing. Go down, get some biscuits for the burglar. Burglar, don't look at the mess. Don't look at the mess. The place is a state. Right? But I have a genuine fear because I'm going to be in my hall and there's going to be a burglar in the kitchen. I'm going to be behind the hall door, right, which is one of these doors that has wood to here and then frosted glass to here, and I'm going to know what the hell. I don't want to face the guy. I don't want to fight the guy. I don't want to threaten the man out of the house. I want to scare him out of the house. I don't know how to do a threat. I've never had to do a threat in my life. I have a vague sense that it has to be quite punchy. You can't threaten somebody and let it tail off. You can't go, get out of the house now, or I'll do something, I don't know what I'll do, but something will happen to me bad, right? That'd be quite punchy. If I'm behind the door and he's in the kitchen, what should I shout? Give me the first initial thing to shout. What? Hands up. Hands up! And then go, wait, why, with what are you threatening me? Oh, bluff, you've called my bluff entirely there. I got nothing at this stage, right? Do you have a gun in the house? No, of course not. So hands up might not be the thing to shout, right? You've a mallet. Why do you have a mallet in your house? Oh, you moved house and you had a camping mallet. What burglar's going? Oh no, a camping mallet, and you're going to run through like Donkey Kong. You're going to run and hit him like that, How big is the mallet that you have? The head's about that big, but how big is the handle? About that. So your sphere of influence is really only that wide. Don't come near me, or I'll punch you to the ground, right? Hands up, I've got a mallet. I don't think that's going to work as a give me another one. What did you say? Get fuck. Here. It's more the exasperated tone. Get to fuck. Like it's a wasp. Like you're at a picnic and you're going, get to fuck. The fucking sick of the fucking burglar. Get to fuck. It's good though, and obviously it's culturally very significant here, right? As a thing, right? There was a woman who shouted something out there. What did you shout? Yippee-ki-yay. I hope that he'll go, oh Jesus, Bruce Willis is here. Hidden somewhere in the vents above me, he's bound to sneak around. What did you see down here?
Knock, knock.
Knock, knock. Just going to confuse the burglar. In my own house, I says to go, knock, knock. And will he automatically go, who's there? Orange. Orange who? No, I'm not doing this fucking joke. Just get out of my house, right? No, what was the line after knock, knock? Oh, he would say knock, knock. Why would he say knock, knock? Have you missed the point of this game entirely? I'm trying to get the man out of my house. I'm not wanting him to put on a bit of a show, right? Well, while you're here, you can tell me some jokes, burglar. Then you can have the DVD player. Let's start with a few classic knock-knocks. Knock, knock. I've heard it before. Oh, shite. Why would the burglar go knock, knock? How polite are the burglars in your part of the world? Knock, knock, I'm the burglar. Just wanted you to know I'm here. I'm stealing some stuff. Don't let him put it in you. I know you're watching the television. Okay, bye-bye now. Bye-bye, I'm the burglar. Bye-bye, I'm the burglar, right? Fantastic. I'm not sure how much of a deterrent it is, either way, right? See, the key is, once you get past it, you get T-fucks, right? Then you're into thinking of, I'm in the hall, what world can I create in the hall to scare the guy away? What world can you create? I was in Cork and I made the mistake of going, what world will we create behind the door? And a bloke in row 3 with genuine excitement went, Narnia. If I should slightly open the door and then throw fake snow into the gap. And they go, you must leave now. The ice queen is coming. You must leave now. What would you do behind the door to create the illusion that you've got something with you? What did you say? Exterminate. No one has suggested being a Dalek. Behind a door, right? Exterminate! Exterminate! More obvious than that, what did you say? Bark! Bark, of course, like a dog. Yeah, you'd have to want to bark like a dog. Let's hear it though. Let's hear what you do, right? Right, so I'm the burglar. This is the door. This is the door. I'm rooting through your stuff when I hear this. Hey, none of the rest of you now. None of the rest of you now. I hear this noise. Nothing scares a burglar more than a tiny dog. That tiny dog released from the handbag he lives in. Go on, go on. Fucking thing. You can kick an armadillo, you can kick that fucking dog, right? There's no difficulty doing that. Right, okay, Grass, you can do a bark thing. You can do a Dalek noise. That guy's quite sweet. Anything else? Go on, one more over here. I'm sorry. My attention is entirely being got by that was the scariest thing I have ever heard in my life. Is it just me, or is that woman going, peekaboo? The most frightening thing you could possibly... What kind of fucked up horror movie? The doll is alive! Peekaboo! Haunted, possessed the guy think he's in? Should I put a plate on top of a fishing line and wave it around as well? And then, peekaboo, I've got you. It's a lot scarier than knock knock, isn't it? Knock knock seems like a long time ago now, right? We are wrecking the burglar's head at this stage. Why don't we play Jack in the Box music? Dang, 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 dang. Peekaboo! You're mine now. There is one answer, not as creepy and weird as that. There's one answer that always appears in Ireland, interestingly. This is intriguing to me. Always appears in Ireland, and it would 100% work at getting an Irish burglar out of an Irish house. It never gets shouted in the UK. Ever has it. What? You're just shouting every fucking... Oh, I'm waiting for potato to be shouted at this stage. To let the stuff that's been full roared out. What did you say down there? Jesus is watching. I think these days you might be overestimating the power of the Catholic Church. You said the local priest is watching, that'd be more scary for them than Jesus. No, the killer phrase, and I'd be surprised if it didn't work here, the killer phrase in Ireland, right, that if you want to get an Irish burglar out of your house, you open the door slightly and just shout, I know your mother. No Irish burglar stays in a house. Oh, Jesus, you probably do. And they're gone. Listen, they're all brilliant suggestions. You're creepy. They're all brilliant suggestions. But don't get me wrong. I have an alarm. I'm not an idiot, right? I have an alarm in the house. In fact, I'm not showing off here. I've got a motion sensor alarm in the house, right? Oh, they're great. They're nothing to do with home security, but every time you come home pissed, you try to beat it. It's not that being a homeowner is really responsible, but now I find myself tiptoeing through my own house going, oh, I've almost got it this time. Really, so the amount of times I've gone to bed and my wife has gone, did the alarm go off? And I've gone, shh, shh, sleep now, go to sleep now, nothing to be worried about. It was a short circuit or something, some sort of error, nothing to be worried about. You go to sleep now, everything is safe, sleepy time for you. Sleepy time for you. He's gone. Were you playing Mission Impossible again? I got to the stairs. The bloke came in to install this alarm and stood in the middle of the kitchen and went, well, the sensor over there, and the sensor over there, and the sensor over there. And as he was doing this, one of our cats just walked past him, right? And your man goes, is that a cat? When a grown man does that, you just have to savor the moment before you launch it and go, is that what it is? We have been Googling furiously for weeks. We've even scanned him in at one stage. We've narrowed it down to slightly larger than a large hamster, but smaller than a small elk. But with that new information, I think we can narrow the search down even more. Honey, it's a cat. I know. We never thought. That's great. Yeah, it's a cat. So what? And your man goes, well, in face, it's not going to work now. He says, what do you mean it's not going to work? He says, well, the system, he says. The system cannot tell the difference between a cat and a burglar. I'm standing looking at him going, well, let me explain it to the system. A cat is about this height. A burglar is about this height. If a cat ever breaks into my house and it's this height, I want the fucking alarm to go off. I don't there be any debate, any pause. I want the alarm to erupt into life and go, wah, wah, wah. Get up, get up. There's a saber-toothed tiger in your kitchen. Get up. Get up. Jesus, there's a tiger in the house. Relax, he's found the Frosties. We've bought some time. If your system cannot tell the difference between a cat and a burglar, rip it out, my friend, and we will dangle a piece of string from the ceiling. And in the morning I will come down and find the burglars batting distractedly at the string. And I will just open the back door and get out, Fridget, get out! Sick of the burglars coming in here every night. It's the bloody neighbours' burglars. We're infested with them. It is a digital alarm system, I said. Can I not just upload a sound file to it, like an MP3 of a voice going, intruder, intruder, intruder. No burglar stays in a house if the house goes, intruder, intruder. But it filters delightfully because cats don't move. I've leaned over me cat and gone, intruder, intruder. And the cat has just looked up and gone, I am on the phone. A friend of mine said, that is amazing. If you could upload any music, you could upload the Benny Hill theme tune. How epic would that be? A burglar breaks in and suddenly the house goes, bam, 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 bam. Naturally you run down in your underwear from bed. Around the burglar, back out into the hall, back in again with you, two girls in stilettos. Something for the dads. And I said, no, you're not having Aurora and Starburst hanging around the house every night. I said, honey, it is for home security. You are not taking the safety of this family seriously enough. I do not want to have to deal with the burglar in this situation. I will give one piece of advice before I pretend to walk off. I'll do the thing where I walk to there, turn around, come back out again. Keep an eye on it. It's magic, right? One final piece of advice. If you're ever facing a burglar in your home, do not be fooled by the propaganda of the frying pan industry. If you hit somebody with a frying pan, it doesn't go dong, and the person goes, oh, that. There is no setting for stun on a frying pan. There are two settings on a frying pan. You're either going to hurt and anger them, or you're going to fucking kill them. So now either you've got a burglar in your kitchen going, what the fuck did you do that for? Or you're in your own garden, digging a grave. With a frying pan, you're dragging the corpse, you're patting it down, you're looking at your own hands which are covered in soil and blood and brains. You're going, oh my God, so much evidence, how can I get rid of it? If only I'd bought the Dettol, no-touch, antibacterial soap stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure talking. I'll walk you here. Still walking here. Walking here, almost disappearing. And I'm back again. Listen, just a couple of things. Actually, pleasure to talk to you. You've been fantastic. A couple of things to say to you. By the way, one of the joys of doing that big encore thing, right, is it like it draws a line, so I can drop in a joke here that I have no place for in the show, but I love, right? So here it is. Don't you hate it? Don't you hate it when you get a taxi and the taxi driver cuts somebody up and the guy he cuts up looks at you? You're the prick. Like you went, here's £100, get me to the theatre now, I don't care how many toes you have to step on to do it. I hate that. So any time I'm in a taxi and the guy cuts somebody up, I always make sure I'm rammed up against the glass doing this. I'm going to leave a couple of quick stories. I was on a train in London, a tube train in London, minding my own business, right, coming back from a football match. And a group of lads, about 20 years old, got on, right? And one of them really loudly went, "Oh, look, look," pointed at me and went, it's your man, look, 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 look." And I'm there going, "Oh, here we go." And he went, "It's Dermot." But no, that's Dermot O'Leary you're thinking of, I know. It's very easy to mistake us. Yes, Dermot O'Leary. And your man plonks himself down and then weirdly looks at me and goes, "Who do I look like?" Like, acting from nothing, right? "Who do I look like?" And I'm going, look at him. Convenient now, he looked like James Corden. He was a spit of James Corden. So I would, "James Corden," right? And your man goes, "No." I said, "Who do you think you look like?" And your man goes, "Matt Damon." He looked about as much like Matt Damon as James Corden looks like Matt Damon, right? But I, a brilliant wit that I am, immediately went, "Yeah, Fat Damon." Sorry. But I immediately got off. It's the only thing you can do in that situation. I immediately got off the train. "Yeah, Fat Damon. Ha ha ha. Good night, very good. Ha ha. Goodbye, goodbye. Shum, mind the gap. Ha ha." What fucking station am I at? Because getting off at least meant he didn't bring out the phone, because he would have had every permutation of his mates. He had that look in his eye of someone who's going to take a photo of every possible thing to capture the moment. Phones are great, but God, sometimes. There was a piece in The Guardian not long ago, and they'd seen an interview with Paul McCartney, where Paul McCartney said he can't finish a meal without people constantly coming up for the photograph on the phone, right? And The Guardian were quite snarky, right, about it, and quite, "Oh, Paul, if this is the worst thing you have to face with your millions." And you kind of go, probably was a hassle, you know. Paul McCartney's the 8th most famous man in the world. We'd all want a photograph of Paul McCartney if we saw him, right? I'm the 9,000th most famous man in Ireland. I can't finish a fucking pint. In Cork in particular. Cork is a great town, but Jesus, they're obsessed with their Facebook update status. If I go for pints in Cork, the following day I could flick through Facebook, and in the correct order I could watch a stop-motion animation of myself. People are weird about it. Husbands come over with their wives and they push the wife over to you, right? And you're left standing there with the wife. And then they stand really close with the camera, right? And you know the way those little screens, I'm 6'4". Often there's a foot between me and the woman, right? And so on the screen, it'll be just the bottom of my face and the top of her face. So I naturally sort of lower myself in to make a more pleasing photograph, right? 50% of the time, the woman panics and starts to lower as well. Now the two of us are descending together, right? So what are you doing? I don't know, you started it. Fucking stay where you are! What the fuck, I'm getting panicking now! Abort! Once I was sitting in a bar in Dublin. I was drinking angrily, you know, occasionally just having a pint about something, right, with a mate of mine, right? And a woman came over and tapped me on the shoulder with a camera in her hand, and she said, "Is there any chance of getting a..." And I said, of course. And I took the camera off her, put my arm around her, held the camera shoulder thing, and went click, 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 flash, and I had it back and said, "There you go, have a lovely day," right? And away you go. Back to her friends. I turned to my mate, who was laughing. I said, "What is so funny? This is what you have to do now, right? It's what you have to do." And he said, "I'm not sure it is really, to be honest. I think she just wanted you, or anyone, to take a photograph of her and her friends." There is nothing more earthing, more grounding, more good for the soul than slowly turning in a bar to see a woman holding up your face on a camera and mouthing the words, "Who the fuck is this. Who is this man who insisted I be photographed? Who put his arm around me and went, yeah, you don't want them, you want this, and this is the happy memory you want now of your trip to Dublin. Give me a big smile there now. Give me a big smile, click, click, click. There you go, pet. Have a lovely weekend. Bye. I want you, to the people I have made gods of tonight, I want you to respect them and treat their privacy like they deserve it, ladies and gentlemen, because they have been wonderful people. We met legends like the Joiner, ladies and gentlemen. The Joiner who can do everything. That man must walk through parks, and if he sees a dog being let, what are you letting your dog do? I'm just letting him pee on the tree. What? But it's just a tree. It's not just a tree. It is everything. Ladies and gentlemen, even as he looks at me, he's stripping the wood in order to make other things. He's a master. Give it up for that man, ladies and gentlemen. And beside him, the winner of the game of what job works best as sexual role play. And you wouldn't have presumed it would be the Velux window installer. And if you're lying in a bed and you say, what are you going to do to me tonight, John? And he goes, I'm going to do to you what I do with my Velux windows. I'm going to do it roughly. That's what I got to do. And hanging from the ceiling. That's how I got to do it, ladies and gentlemen. For the man who stole his window, give him a round of applause. Of all the things we heard, ladies and gentlemen, just one more time, the most blood-curdling possible way we can imagine. Could you imagine you break into a house, all you want to do is steal some food to buy some heroin? It's an honest enough transaction in your head. And all you hear is this ghostly voice go. Fucking, you're all getting in on it there, aren't you? Very impressive. But do you know who I really feel sorry for? I feel sorry for, you know, the guy who has to go to his wife going, I've got to go now. And she goes, don't leave me. Don't leave me to go. And this job is killing you. This is the loneliest job in the optician world. Just sitting on a mountaintop on a bike, waiting for the call, with your chart on your back, ready to go at all times. And he looks at him and goes, honey, I am number 5 in a company that's got 4 shops. That's the way it works for me. And until I earn it or kill numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, I will be the world's loneliest optician. He is the boss that created that man. Give a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. But more than that, this economy needs to be turned around by small businessmen who are willing to gamble, ladies and gentlemen, willing to place some of their assets in the form of a giant, inconceivably large mattress. 7 foot by 7 foot, and they say, you're a crazy idiot, John. No one is going to buy. Somebody will buy this mattress. Somebody will buy this mattress, and our shop in Dunblane will sell this mattress, and it will be a triumph. And you waited, and people, they went, oh, you're mad, you're a fool. And then one day a man walked in and said, I couldn't help noticing the enormous mattress